Hey everybody, Ruben here, the Blue Pepper. Today I'm going to show you how to build this. First thing we start off is with our 2-foot section of 3/4 inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe. What you do is you take your dominant hand and you wrap it around the pole and you measure. I've already measured, mine's like 4.5 inches. And you want to give yourself a little bit more extra room. So I gave myself another 1.5 inches. So this, from here to here, this first mark here is 6 inches. You can see that mark. And then what I did was I took my reel, set it on top, and then I marked the back and the front where the reel touches the PVC pipe. I don't know if you can see that or not because it's dark out. And what that was for is that you're going to cut notches into the PVC, but not exactly the same size. You can do it just a little bit smaller, maybe like 1/2 inch. And the reason why is you want to slide the reel in one end and then push it up so it fits, and then there's at least 1/4 inch to maybe 1/2 inch on each side underneath the cuts on the PVC. I'll show you that when we get there. So now that I've done that, you take the remaining part of your PVC, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to heat probably, well, an inch further than where your reel, the front end of the reel, touched the PVC pipe. So let's say roughly it was 12 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh heck, let's leave a little bit more space. Let's do 11 inches. So just leave like an inch of space from here to there. Basically, you don't have to measure like I did from here to there. If you go 1 inch further than from where the reel is at, then you're fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my heat gun, heat this whole section here, get a piece of board, flatten it, and then smash it down with some clamps so it stays there. And it should cool relatively quickly since it's nighttime. So let me show you how I do that. Alright, so just get a flat piece of board. In this case, I've got a piece of plank I got off a pallet that I dismembered. And get your clamps. I'm going to be using 2. And make sure they're ready, because I am the king of not having clamps ready. People who know me. And what you want to do is you want to take your board, if you can stand it up, and you want to use that as like a back plate. And this is going to be like a heat shield here, so the heat would stay in that area. Alright, so let's start heating. Okay, now that you got it all heated up, just lay it down. Get it as straight as you can. Go ahead, get your clamp. Clamp it down. It's the hard thing about clamping something that's round. It never wants to cooperate. Alright, so you want to clamp it down and get as flat as you possibly can. You want extreme flat, so squish the heck out of it. You want to make sure your handle end is down. You don't want it to come up. If you want to walk away, go get a beer. Just get another clamp and put it on the handle. Make sure it's straight. Okay, and just let it sit there and let it cool. Okay, while we're waiting for that to cool off, let me show you this. So this is the reel, and what I did was I sat it on top of the PVC, and I marked the back end there, and I marked the front end there where it's going to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a notch here at the back end, and then I'm going to cut another notch here at the front end, but like maybe a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch further back here from this end. So let me go ahead and cut that, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I cut the first notch here, and then I measured from this first mark 3/4 of an inch back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that section right there and make a slit. So there's my two notches, and you don't want to cut too deep, just deep enough where the seam or that hole seems wide enough to where the tip or the ends of this reel could fit right into them. So you see so what's going to happen is I'm going to heat this middle section, bend it down or soften it up, stick this end in, push it all the way back as far as I can until I can get this end in, and then move it forward, and so I can have those two pieces of the reel underneath that PVC. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I just set the reel into that PVC. So you can see how it's squeezed into there. So it's in there pretty good, pretty far. And then you make sure that it's fairly linear with the rest of your PVC. So I think this part here now is cooled off enough that we can work with it. This is still kind of soft. And the reel still moves, but it's not going to come out. After that PVC cools down, it hardens. So let's take this out and see what it looks like. Okay, flat, very flat. So let's finish this together. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we want to put a little bit of an arch on this, where this tip is going to be even with where the line comes out of the reel. So let me do that and show you how it's done. So while I got this still mounted down onto the table, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my drill now. I'm going to drill my small hole close to the tip. And I'm not just going to do one, I'm going to do a couple. And it would greatly help if I plugged in my drill to do this. Just make sure the drill bit hole is big enough to where you can put any kind of fishing line through it. another inch apart. I did that just in case if I'm ever out in the field and this hole somehow breaks, cracks, whatever, I have another one to back up with. And that's it for the drill. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the heat gun, reheat this flattened surface here, and curve it up. So from here, curve it up, try to get it level with that hole. Okay, so I had this dowel rod laying around that I had, and I just sharpened the point, and then I stuck it in the hole of the reel. This will help me with the curve, so I know how high I'll have to go. So let's go ahead and warm it up. Soft enough to bend, but not too soft where it starts to lose its flat shape. That section's heated up already. So just want to take your hand, bend it up. Now you don't want to do exactly, you're just a little bit higher than the stick because that's your line's going to go through there. But that's about your shape. Since it's nighttime, it'll start to cool off relatively fast, but this is what your curvature is going to look like. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, as long as this right here where the hole where the reel is at is close to matching up where the hole here is at. Okay, just gonna let that cool off, and then we'll finish this project. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of this project here. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fit this plug on the end of your rod, and this is going to be used as to fit your extra tackle, hooks, sinkers, extra line, blah blah blah. It's not waterproof, so maybe you can try making it waterproof later on down the road, but this is my first time trying it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up this end right here, fit this plug into there, and so it's not so tight enough to stay there, but not so tight. And then I'm going to drill a hole in the center of this and put a string or lanyard out, so I don't have to try to grab this thing to pop it out. I can just grab the string, pop it out. So I'm gonna do that and be right back. Okay, so now that I finished putting a hole in through the plug, putting a string in there so I can take it out, I did a couple extra things. I went ahead and I'll show you how that works. Put the plug in there, pop it right out. I might have to work that with a little bit of sandpaper so it's not so tight. I went ahead, gave it a paint job right quick, used some flat black paint, and then I found some paracord I had, some 18 feet of paracord, and I wrapped the handle with paracord. So that's what it looks like there. Finished project. Let me demo. I know you won't be able to see it, but you can hear it. Let me demo. Good night.